Well, here we are tonight. Look at us.
What's going on?
Hey,
100 and Steve, how many shows? 194, 196?
This, I think, is episode 194, if Shane did the math right.
Okay.
But we're going to blame it on him if it's wrong. So
blame it on because we don't, because A, you blame it on Shane. Two, we don't do math.
That's right.
That's how it is. So
math is hard.
So Lambert, because you are a guest, and in a few minutes you will not be a guest. You will be family. You can throw rocks, snowballs, whatever you want tonight. Okay.
Beautiful.
So pour that.
Right in.
Pour some of that. What do you got there? Woodford.
It's a Woodford Reserve tonight special. Just because I knew I was going to be on with you guys, wanted to
look at that.
Pull out something special out of the little cabinet there.
Welcome aboard.
Cheers, everybody.
We'll tell everybody about you. We'll get into your deep, dark secrets of ham radio. That's right, folks. We're talking ham radio tonight. You mark my words. We will talk a lot of radio tonight, one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in the upcoming sessions we will not. So we'll all balance it out here tonight. So, yeah. So it's Tuesday. It's December 3rd. We're getting into the full force of, if you celebrate any type of the upcoming holidays, the gift giving. The UPS and FedEx drivers have begun.
Make sure you put snacks and stuff out for them.
Yes.
Because they are busting their tails.
Correct. Listen, we all have our regular driver, who you may or may not see because of this time period of the year. There could be the others. Who cares? Hey, leave out a Gatorade. If you got some extra Halloween candy, or tell you what, go to the store and go buy some more candy. Put them in a bag. Just put something in a Ziploc bag and just write on it to the UPS man. That's all.
Yep.
Or lady, or however you want to address it. I think that's an excellent way. And don't forget
for delivery drivers, because you got UPS, drivers. You got FedEx, you got Amazon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your postal service.
I know I always tip the garbage man. I always tip our U.S. Postal Service lady who takes care of us. When the big stuff doesn't fit into the mailbox, she gets out of the truck. Sometimes she'll even wrap it in plastic if it's raining and put it on the porch.
Oh, wow.
So they go the extra mile. They take care of you, and everything. So, hey, listen, before we go any further, Shane has been talking about this for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and rightfully so. And, for those who don't really know, Shane works his ass off behind the scenes, doing a lot of things. He sets up the show.
He is in the chat. Don't blow his head up too big.
All right. I won't blow his head. All right. I'm not going to kiss his ass too big. I'm only going to kiss one cheek, not both cheeks. He does the thumbnail. He does the thumbnail that you see on X/Twitter. He does the thumbnail that you see on YouTube. He sets the show up. He does the music. He does a lot. If he didn't do it, we would just be saying, it would just be a quick, turn the lights on. Boom, here we are. Turn the lights off.
Hey, we're live.
Right. Yeah. And then we're gone. Bye-bye. See you next week. Bling. But he's been talking about this only because of the support from the top end people. And I'm going to quickly run down the list I was thinking of how can I do this like a cattle, like we're auctioning off cattle, but I don't have that technique.
You don't have that je ne sais quoi?
Yeah, that to get the rolling going on. It's all rolling. So the Zombie Club for 24 months, YouTube has, I believe it's YouTube, correct, Steve? They've now given you guys shields.
Yes.
Because of your support. If anybody wants to upgrade, you upgrade. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Take care of family first around here. And yeah, Don, you're probably right. It would just be another coffee and ham radio show. There is only one coffee and ham radio show, and we'll just leave it like that. We can only take one set, just like there's only one Clubhouse. That's it. You don't want another group. But seriously, the following people, we really want to say thank you. A heartfelt thank you for your upper tier support for the last 24 months. We appreciate it. The first one is a special guy to me because I've known him for over 30 years. Mark and I got to know each other through a clubhouse, our own club. And Mark's a great guy. Unfortunately, just like everyone's life changes. He got a great opportunity to go down south and go south. That's what I call it. Go. Family first. Take care of your professional, opportunities, and he did. I'm very, very proud of him. So, Mark, our good buddy Jason 2.0, our good buddy, all our good buddies, uh, 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 Jody, Arthur, Ben Williams, SKT, Don Army, Hiken and Hammond, Colt 45,
Buddy Lou,
Terry, Mr. Andy from across the pond, our buddy Jeff, who can really throw a mean snowball at you, I think. N4 POD, Dean KQ4 ADJ, Bob K0PF, always in the chat along with everybody else. Casey KC7 Alpha Bravo Charlie, the Quintico hand, Toby from New Jersey, Alpha Bravo 2 Charlie Delta. Always Lambert. I'm sure you've worked there, right?
Yeah, a lot of those sound very familiar.
Yeah, Toby is always chasing us, and you got to love the hunters. We need hunters for POTA to happen. That's and right. Finally, K0 Bravo Juliet Amateur Radio. That list. Thank you for your 24-month support. And Shane is correcting me, and he's absolutely correct. These folks, regardless of the level of the support, have surpassed the 24 months. So regardless of whether they're given 99 cents or whatever it is, the point is they've been supporting us. As well as, sometimes I understand why the crowns are in, but there's a lot of other people who, am I right, Steve, who support Clubhouse.
Yep.
Between the Carloses of the world, those crazy guys from New England who we just met a few months ago. I don't want to say their name because it's like saying Beetlejuice. But Mike, Jason, the Coffee and Ham Radio guys, the Carloses of the world. Who else am I missing? Mike, N2MAK, and so many other people who have come on this show, whether you've come on once or a few other times. Sam. Scout 75, the Dumpster Fire Boys. Everybody is supporting us, and that's very important to us, and we say thank you. So we got some ideas. We actually took some time, believe it or not. After last week's show, we spent about 30 to 45 minutes.
Yep, we had a meeting after the show. Yep.
Yeah, the famous meeting after a meeting.
Was there pizza involved?
No pizza, no beer, no grilled cheese, no pancakes, no coffees. The only one who had a cigar was me because I was still outside. But we actually started saying, let's do something really nice in 2026. Wait, not 26. 25 is next year.
He's planning ahead.
No, 26 sounds about right. Got to build the coffers up.
I'm sick, folks. I hope my voice isn't driving everybody crazy. So, but after this show, I'm
no different than any normal week.
After this show, I'm laying down. I'm going back to bed and letting the meds kick in and just let nature take its course and work this thing out of me. But so we're planning. We're planning on doing some nice opportunities for everybody. So, all right, enough of the serious stuff. Enough of this Hallmark Channel. Guy meets girl, breaks up, gets back together, bring out the Kleenex tissue and all this other stuff. Steve, how's it going?
Going good. We're only 10 minutes in. You did good tonight, Don. No, we did. I had an Eris contact yesterday, the amateur radio on the International Space Station.
I saw that. You posted that. That was very nice.
Yep. I actually did that live. Unfortunately, the internet was not what it was supposed to be at the school. So it did get a little choppy. I've got to go download those and learned a valuable lesson. If you're going to stream it live from a remote location, record the SOB as well. So that way you at least have a clean copy for the on-site recording.
Right. Interesting.
And then repost that later. Because now I got to go do edits and stuff on it. And this weekend, I got to hang out with our friends from POTA Power. So we went out and did Julian Vaughn went out and did 3 parks with them, and I left them at the last twofer to go ahead and knock that out while I went and picked up Dana from work.
So were they out here on business? Were they in the Carolinas for business or pleasure, or
they came up for vacation? Ironically enough, Julie has family up by my folks, and that's where they went for Thanksgiving. So we were in the same town for Thanksgiving. Didn't see each other on Thanksgiving, but I hung out with them a little bit on Wednesday, and then Friday all day we went out and just
tore up the airways because my ham alert was because I was stuck at work for 16 hours, and my ham alert was going nuts between you and
we
them.
Froze.
Did you really?
We hiked out to the beach at one of the parks, and it's about a half mile from the parking lot to where we set up.
All right, what's cold for you? So everyone can laugh at you. What's cold?
Yeah, well, okay. I think we said it was like 44, 45 degrees, but being right on the beach in front of the lighthouse, the wind was blowing, so that didn't help.
So meanwhile, the boys in Wisconsin right now are all laughing at you.
Oh, they're calling me, they're
calling you out right now.
Yes, I am a kitty cat. I'll put it that way.
That cold wind gets you, though, man.
It
goes right through you, doesn't it?
Too. Yeah.
But we had fun. That's all that mattered. So.
Yeah,
POTA Power, those guys are everywhere.
Aren't they? Lambert, I got to tell you something. So I was chasing them, and maybe you also. They just popped up. They just popped up on the spotting page, and just like everyone else, you start working them, and you start seeing the names, and you start, you're like, this is good. This is good. I love it when people get involved, like myself. I love it because we're all having fun on our own timeline, doing our own thing, our own modes, our own bands, whatever. Just get out there, and when we cross paths, it's fun.
It's fun. Cool. So Absolutely. Much fun.
But then all of a sudden, when she said, I think it was right before we had them on the show here. They had just started the YouTube channel and their Facebook stuff, and it's taken off like gangbusters. We're very, very happy for them. Like I say, they're sprinkling a lot of RF in the air, and that's important to keep the hobby alive, showing everybody how fun it is, giving encouragement to couples if they want, men, women, children. It doesn't make a difference. You're just going to go out there.
How long has their channel been around? Because I feel like they just popped up fairly recently.
Steve, what do you think? 6 months?
Maybe
4 months. Yeah. I want to say, actually summertime. So I want to say maybe July.
Yeah.
We had a long discussion about that over dinner, actually. And it was kind of a, hey, what do you think about doing this? And Julie's like, yeah, whatever, fine, do what you want. And now, because she was against radio at first.
Really?
And now she's addicted. Yeah.
You wouldn't.
No, I know, Larry.
And she.
I when I started following them right when they first popped up, I'm like, she's driving this thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like. So it's surprising to hear that she was kind of against the whole radio thing. But God bless.
Well, same thing for you, man. So like, what about you? Because like all of a sudden, it's like, bam, there you are, and of course. Anybody who posts a cigar or something about cigars on a social media post, it's like, you got my attention. You know what I mean? And so tell us about. So let's go from the beginning. Back, when did you get licensed and why? What's your whole gig, man?
Man, so I took my first ham license test in 1979. Here in Maryland, so I'm in Arlington, Virginia, but I grew up in the 60s and 70s here in Maryland. I got into CBs right from when CBs hit. I was a young kid into
Envoy, Smokey and the Bandit.
Absolutely.
Right? See, there you go.
And,
nice.
And the whole thing. 1979 came around, and my dad had mentioned that he could take me down to the FCC office because you had to go in.
You had to walk in.
Yeah. And I'm like, sure. And so, and I failed. I passed everything except the code. And it was, I think it was 23 words or something.
What year was this now?
79.
79. Okay, yep.
Yeah, late 70s. And so failed, and it didn't stop me from, I stayed on CBs all through the 80s and 90s. I was Kid Slick was my handle. And
there you go.
And that there's a whole story behind that name too. But life happens. Moved to Chicago. I spent 40 winters in Chicago, so don't talk to me about cold weather. I know it very well.
Windy City. Yep.
Yeah, and from finished school, got married, started the family, had kids. We went out to Southern California in 2013, and my business partner sent me for Christmas one year back in 2014. He sent me a CB radio just out of the blue. Like this radio came back in my life, and I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. And one thing led to another, and I wanted to just go try and get my ham license again. So in 2015, I became a tech out in California. Gordon West, if you know that name.
Yes, sure,
yep.
absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely.
He
that's how I got my licenses.
He helped me pass, and he was I was part of SORA, the South Orange Amateur Radio Association club out there, which he's a member of, and got to see him every month. Gordon West.
Oh my God, I would love to shake his hand and say thank you.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
Is he? I picture a down to earth guy. No ego, just a really salt of the earth. Just get on the air, understand. Have an understanding of what you're doing, and just be safe.
He's a complete radio personality, though. So there's no dead air. If you throw it over to him, I'm sure you've seen his shows and his blogs and stuff like that. But he can pick it up, and he's just got the commanding presence of a radio professional. He's awesome.
He's an absolute professional.
Yes.
Radio,
and unbelievably
whatever,
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like he knows. He's so technical, and he's a teacher. So I can't remember what the stat is, but he has helped countless thousands of hams, get into the hobby and get licensed, including me. So I love Gordo for that reason. Got really involved in MCOM out in Southern California. So I was part of the Racies group out there, the Mission Viejo Racies group. Aries Racies was a big part of my life. My company, my day job, I sell mission critical wireless communications to the military. So go figure. I'm just a wireless radio guy.
You are a radio nerd just like me, and I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Bring it on.
I got my general, and I'm to this day I'm actually studying for my extra still. But I've had so much fun with general. But I'm running a big business, 3 kids. Just life is busy for me. So I haven't had the actual need to go for my extra, but I want to. There's so many things. Let me ask you a question. So many things.
Let me stop you for a minute. So when you were in California, and I know it's like this in various states around the country, did you see the difference between Racies and Aries? Were they all one and the same? Did the guys have a dual membership card, or were there just Racy members?
It was just Racies. Yeah. Aries wasn't. It just, in my experience, wasn't very prominent there, and I really didn't understand. And then when I came here, I was KK6 WOW, so I was KK6 WOW out there, and came back here and got the W3LAM call, and got involved in MCOM right away out here with the Anne Arundel Radio Club and the MCOM guys here. Started working the Marine Corps marathons and all the different events that I can get myself involved in. And I've noticed that it was mostly Aries out here.
Right. Because you and I are probably about the same age, I'm going to guess. And lot of people know I'm the kid. You know, I was never very good in sports. I was not. I'm horrible in sports. Uh, Frisbee does not count as a sport. Well, maybe it does now, but back then it didn't. Can't sing, can't dance. So, you know, my grandfather, who got licensed in 1933, went through the whole. You know, he taught CW to the troops here at Fort Dix in New Jersey and other
Nice.
locations around the country. You know, they had a 30-day program to learn, you know, Morse code. I think it was 23 or 28 words a minute, minimal.
Wow.
But his racy stories from this region where we live is amazing. Of the things that happened like post World War II, like we had some major floods of 55 here in Connecticut, and they were all racies. It was all racies. Trained. I think the first Monday of the month was racies. And Mark Mo, if you're still in the chat, if you remember, I think the first Monday of the month, regardless of the numeric number, was the racies. And you had to be a races member. You could not be an Aries member. You couldn't be Joe Ham. You couldn't be Bob, the CB guy coming through.
Right.
You had to be a races. It was very strict. You had your race. You had your card, your number. I believe it was they would sometimes back in the earlier 60s and early 70s. It was 6 meter AM. They were losing a lot of these the Gonset communicator. For all you young guys out there, go to the Google and go find yourself a Gonset. And the Gonset communicator did 6 meter AM. They eventually did a 2 meter. They did like a 2 meter desktop, and then they did like a 2 meter mobile. I remember. And if you find any of them, those are, especially in working condition, those are really some antique prizes. Those are not boat anchors. Those are prizes, guys.
But they're boat anchor size.
They're actually, Steve, believe it or not, the Gonset desktop really wasn't. From what I heard was they sort of modeled it off of the old AM, the new AM transit. When I say new and when I say transistor, AM transistor radio. That rectangular box about the size of a shoebox, maybe, right, Lamb?
Yeah.
And maybe that would sit in like the kitchen radio that you would have on the countertop. Look at this. He's gonna drop the mic. Look at this thing. There you go.
Yeah, this is a Sharp, but this is an example of what you're talking about.
Yes.
One of those old...
And these guys, they were dead strong, serious, because they came out of these are guys who were part of the Cold War. We don't know, our generation, my generation, and the younger kids today, they have no concept of what Cold War means and how that psychologically affected all of us. I could tell stories, from my grandfather. I'll bore you guys at another date. Some stuff that I can say.
I'm old enough to remember sitting around a radio with my parents, my uncles, and aunts, sitting around a radio, listening to radio.
With your decoder ring?
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
Exactly.
It's that time of year, baby. It's that time of year.
The Ovaltine message.
The good old days.
But that's interesting because, like I said, because I've heard from various hams, anywhere between 55 plus, who would talk about different sections of California had their very strict racist groups. I know a couple of groups in Texas were the same way. I've heard the stories here in Connecticut, and then it faded out. It faded out here in Connecticut. But when I got involved in areas like in 1989, actually 1990, 1991, and you would walk into, maybe you guys have seen this and those in the chat, when you get involved and you go to your local municipal office, and sometimes the door is a little stuck and there's some cobwebs and there's some dust. and you open up this room, and to anyone else, it's nothing more than the broom closet. But for people like us, what do? Oh, and some stuff you don't even know what it's used for. You don't know if it's still plugged in.
But it's all interesting. We want to touch it, put our hands on it, play around with it. I got pictures inside the radio room of the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California.
No kidding.
Oh man, it's such a cool experience. It's kind of closed off because it's kind of like a museum type of thing.
Yep.
But the day that we were there on board the ship, they were letting people actually in it. I don't know if they broadcast from there anymore.
They do. Museum Ships Weekend, which is the first weekend in June, I believe. The Queen Mary's on the air.
Yeah, it was such a cool radio room.
So, Lamb, so you leave California.
Left California.
Let me guess. An opportunity with family, job. Yep. So you moved your business. You moved
my business. We're headquartered in Annapolis, Maryland. My big contract is with the Navy. I got a elderly mom here that lives in Georgetown, so she needs, needs somebody around, and it was.
So were you a ham when you moved? Were you a ham ready? You were. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. You had the 6th land call.
Yep.
Okay.
So 2018 came out here. So I was, not doing a lot of HF at all from 2018 to maybe 2020.
So what were you doing?
I was doing a lot of 2 meters, just MCOM stuff, and rag chewing on the repeaters with the guys.
Are they active down there? Are in your region?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The analog repeaters, the digital, any digital stuff.
Yeah,
excellent, good.
So I got involved in field day, and I just thought to myself, I need to start doing more HF stuff because it's so much fun. And I've also, to go along with my story, I got into cigars in the 90s, and I've been smoking cigars since the 90s. Here in Arlington, I'm in downtown Arlington, Virginia, in a high-rise building. I can't play radio in the house here because there's just unbelievable amount of noise around here.
I can just imagine. Yeah, huh?
I have to go out to play radio, but I also, I smoke at least 1 cigar a day, at least, and so it was my chance to get out and enjoy a day out in the outdoors and whatever. And so POTA came into my life in 2022. Wow. I've been doing POTA now since 2022. I'm right here in the DC area, so all these parks out here are very cool, and I'm activating the DC parks all the time, which is
very cool and very. So let me tell you something. You hit a lot of bells there. I'm trying to think Steve, which one should we talk? Should we talk tobacco first, Steve, or should we ask him about equipment first? What do you want to do, Steve?
Well, no, let's go with his cigar of choice. 1 cigar a day. What's the cigar of choice?
I want to hear what you're smoking. I want to know because we all know it's all on the palate. Everyone's there's no such thing as the best cigar. Let's just
just like a glass of wine. It's what you like. It's what goes with you. I mean, you smoke enough cigars, you're going to know what you like. Just like you drink enough beers, you're going to know what kind of beer you like. Same with wine, all that kind of stuff. But so I became a member of the POTA Facebook group.
Correct.
Maybe
I remember finding you.
I'm sorry.
Just sometime last year.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah,
I'm a mod on there, and I will still apologize for that.
Yep. Thank you. And I started posting pictures of my activations, and of course, all my pictures have me with a cigar in my mouth or cigars on the table. You will never.
That's your trademark. That's your trademark. It really. I love it.
What I noticed was every time there was feedback on my post, there was inevitably something about the cigars. Hey, what sticks are you smoking? What's
they didn't care about the antenna or the radio. They want to know. Hey, I was one of them too. I think
you were like the first one.
How do you know I was the first? I mean, just tell me I was the second, not the first.
Nah.
Get the hell off this show.
You're guilty. You're the first.
Coastal Waves and Wires. Oh man, I love him.
Salty Waltz here. Salty Waltz.
Love Walt. Anyway, but so that's, and everybody would mention and make comments about the cigars. I would always try to have a different, like, just like I would try to mention what equipment I've got out in my pictures. I always had to mention what cigar I was smoking and whatever, maybe leave a little bit of a review. And so it just sort of was a natural that Parks on the air, cigars on the air, and that's where that came from. Is
Excellent.
I usually will never be out playing radio without cigars.
Let me ask you something, and for those who are out there, please consider this. I don't care what social medium you're using. You're going to take a picture, and I'm guilty too. I'm just thinking I'm going to start doing this because I've seen other people cry about it. So instead of crying about it, why don't we all just start doing it? When you take your picture, whether you do it as a line, the bullets, antenna, battery source, radio, it really would be, I really don't care about your park number. Your park number means absolutely nothing to me, but the surrounding stuff, it does. Because let's face it, who cares about the numeric number? But for those, for some of them who want it, I get it. It's part of your narrative. I really care about, did you have fun? Were there any obstacles that you had to, the heat, the bugs, the people walking through, tripping on your feed line, whatever. Tell me what equipment, because there's nothing more. I mean, we kind of can. I mean, a radio you can kind of always guess, but the antenna, there's so many antennas out there. Did you make something? Did you make something? Did you make something from like Salty Walt stuff and you used it? And how did it work for you on that day based upon your band mode and propagation? I really, really wish people would do more with that on the social media side, because then it's going to inspire us.
Yep. It's
going to, to go out and do it, try it, buy it, whatever. I mean, but like I said, you were different because you, like I said, as soon as I saw that cigar, I didn't even see that radio. I saw the cigars.
Yeah.
Well, I try to make my posts the way I like to see them, which is give me a shot of the park because I love being outdoors, and tell me about the equipment you're using, because it's I see a picture of equipment and I'm just interested, and a lot of it we've all seen the stuff, but every now and then there'll be a mount, or there'll be some
excellent point. Yes,
weird configuration. Or there'll be a go box that somebody's using, and I'm like, I want to know what's in the go box. What battery? How did everything?
What's in the box? Yep.
Yeah.
What's in the box? Yep. Absolutely.
So I try to do that, but it's hard. I spend 3-4 hours out on a POTA. I come back. The last thing I want to do is work on my logs and then do another hour-long post. But it's fun. Every time I play radio now, it's a POTA activation.
So what cigars? Let's go with tobacco.
Yes.
Are you a Nicaraguan, Dominican, Honduran, Cuban, something from Europe? Because Europe stuff is coming in now. Africa stuff is coming in. It's not.
I like them. I like all the above. So the real answer is yes. Everybody that knows me sees me with I have these things everywhere, in my car, in my bags, at work, in my briefcase, my backpacks, everywhere. Everybody thinks that I drink a lot of water, but what I found is either the cheapest, best non-breakable.
Look at this idea, folks. This is why you come. This is why you come to the clubhouse, not to talk radio, but get ideas for your tobacco. And I know exactly where he's going and why he's doing this.
So this is a hydro flask right here. I got 5 sticks, a cutter, and my lighter fits in there. So and this is
probably makes it through TSA pretty well.
It you know what? It's funny. I've never been stopped. People see it and they're like, don't they think that's a bomb or whatever? And
no, it's a hydro flask. Everybody carries a water bottle.
It's a hydro flask with cigars in it. You want one? Leave me alone.
It's the cheapest travel humidor you'll ever find, because once these are sealed, so there is a rubber gasket here. There is nowhere for the air to go.
Correct.
and it's indestructible. My cigars travel perfectly. But to get back to your question, so this is called an Alhambra. You can't see that, an Alhambra. So my fist is the globe. This is Cuba.
Yeah.
On the other side of the world, same latitude. Is it latitude or longitude? Same latitude.
Yeah. Latitude.
Is a group of islands called the Philippines, and it just happens to be that's where I'm from. And they are growing the most world-class tobacco out in the Philippines, and they have been since the late 1800s. The tobacco over there is as good or better than pre-Castro Cuban tobacco.
No kidding. I'm gonna have to ask my cigar guy this. Look at this. I love it.
The environment, the temperature, the soil quality, it's world-class tobacco, but we don't get Philippine tobacco here in the States. All that stuff goes to Europe. They actually use the tobacco in the really expensive cigarettes that you find out in Europe. It's great. If you can get your hands on some Philippine tobacco, and I may know a guy, hint, hint.
Okay.
It's an unbelievable.
Look at Shane. Shane. All of a sudden, Shane came in at a real good time. Look at him.
Right.
The gears are turning, boys.
I was gonna say Shane's a good cigar smoker too.
So Lambert, so is it all Philippine tobacco, binder, filler, and tobacco? Is it all, or where are they getting their?
They use Connecticut wrappers. They use Ecuadorian wrappers. They use, but the binders, the fillers, the stuff that they actually create the blends. I mean, it's unbelievable.
The blending is
the taste profile of Philippine tobacco is out of this world. It's different, completely different. It's like an Australian wine versus a California.
Right. In all fairness, right.
Yep. But it's an agricultural product, so it really is dependent on soil quality, temperature, humidity, all that.
I was just going to ask you. So if they have a good crop going at the top where there's a lot of sun, is it going to be a really nice, maybe medium to full, age it well, or
they tend to be very mild.
Okay.
There's no acrid, there's no harshness. You can smoke a Philippine cigar down to a roach, and you will not get much of a bite at all.
Interesting. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's a very different. It's a different experience. Filipino cigar tobacco is unbelievably fine. It's a very, very white, fine ash. Like when you go to those white sand beaches, it's real fine sand, and it looks really. That's how the Philippine tobacco burns.
Nice.
Excellent. Oh my God. Look at the things we learn here on Clubhouse, Shane.
Right.
Do you have some general tasting notes for that particular type?
I do.
Just all see.
Excellent question. Yeah.
Can y'all hear the background noise? I'm sorry if it's there.
No.
Okay. Of course, like any good cigar guy, I keep a dossier.
Excellent.
Of course.
Excellent.
So let's see. And I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, but the Philippine cigars that I've had, they've all ranked higher. They've ranked higher than most of the Dominican and a couple of the Cubans that I've actually smoked. Let's see if I can find one. All right. Yeah. Corona size. So Don Urquijo. Corona size Philippine cigar. I bought this one in Manila in May of 2022. I gave it a rating of an 8 out of 10.
Right.
It's a beautiful cigar, no blemish wrapper, Connecticut. The flavor profile was very unique. It had cream flavors with aromatic spices and a vanilla finish.
Oh, nice.
I need to smoke another one to continue this review.
There you go.
That's a good feeling, isn't it? That's a good feeling.
Yes. And then my note at the very bottom was, it's the best ash I've ever had. Like fine white powder was the ash.
Oh wow.
So now do you traditionally pair your cigars with a nice bourbon, or what do you like to pair it with?
I thought you were going to say with a radio like Yesu or.
That comes next. That'll
That's
that'll come
the
next.
fast round.
We got that.
Right, and when we get, as well as when we get back to talking radio, but we're not talking radio right now.
Yeah, I find the Nicaraguans go best with Yesu, and the Filipino cigars are best with a Linko for some reason. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I really don't pair much because I'm a whiskey drinker, and so all the different types of whiskeys, I'll try with cigars, and I'm the kind of guy that I'll eat a Philly cheesesteak and have a really expensive glass of wine, because it just doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter. I really don't pair, to answer your question.
Because I know I don't. All the boys know I don't drink. I am not a bourbon whiskey. I just don't have that taste for it. My palate doesn't care for it. Maybe a gin and tonic, tequila. I don't mind. I either want it in shots or I want it in some with a little pineapple juice, and some crushed ice and a little tumbler, and let me sip it or drink it down or gulp it down. But I don't pair. To me, I want to have a cigar like you. I probably average at least one or two a day. There's some days when I can go 2 days just because of work. I'm not going to have a cigar, but when I do smoke, I'm having 3 or 4, whatever.
I'm like Walt. He says, I love a cigar with bourbon straight. That's I love anything with bourbon straight.
Really? No kidding. No kidding.
Bourbon on ice. There you go.
But if I had my druthers and I wanted to actually pair something up with a cigar, it would be like a cup of coffee with some whiskey in it, or a port. So a port wine with a cigar is, to me, it's like the best mellow sort of combination of, it's just nice in the mouth for me.
Yep.
There you go. Okay.
See, to me, cigars are good for the good times and for the bad times, man. Just have one and, savor the moments, savor what you did. You're having a bad day, something going on in your life. Just kind of, think it through a little bit.
Yep.
I'm jealous right now. I wish I could have a cigar. I got this whatever upper respiratory thing going on, and
me and Shane are smoking for you.
I mean, I could if I want. I'm just not going to taste it, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste a cigar. I hate that. I hate that feeling. It's like when you're like, every once in a while you get that cigar that does a sidewinder burn on it, or it cracks on you. I switched over to these nice acrylic jars to hold my cigars now. I'm no longer doing the humidors because of the humidity fluctuation. It's just not worth it for me.
Yeah.
The acrylics are tight. They are waterproof, airproof. You throw a Bovita pack in there, and I'm good. And my cigars don't last in the house. I might buy a large bundle full of stuff.
Yep.
But I don't last it.
Same.
But I heard some guy at my local lounge talking about the Yeti flask that he had in it. Roger.
All right, Shane.
And a few others. I'm like, man, that's a good idea, because it's airtight. That's as long as it's airtight, waterproof. What do you care? And make it work for you. So
absolutely.
Interstellar Starman saying skip the peanut butter and pickle whiskey. You ever try any? You ever try any of that? Wild stuff.
Yeah, I have. I think I've had everything from oh my gosh, I'm blanking here. Like real moonshine to to homemade stuff that you can run the lawnmower on if you have to.
Absolutely.
Or a chainsaw, and that thing will burn so clean.
That'll get your car home.
Get you a bottle of moonshine.
Yep.
You'll be just fine. Yeah, and Yeah. So I grew up in the beer business. So I've been around alcohol, I feel like, all my life. My dad retired from Anheuser-Busch after 33 years or so.
Okay.
And my brother and I, we did our time. We worked at Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, and
Doing what now? Were we in sales, working in the
Yep.
warehouse?
Yeah. I mean, as young guys, we were working in the warehouse. I worked my way up into
work your way up. Yeah.
yeah, from the warehouse into sales, marketing. I was hanging neon signs. Ended up
Hell yeah, that's right. Yeah.
oh yeah, being in charge of a sales route. I ran trucks. I humped kegs up and down, in the basements in the bars of Chicago. It was crazy, but yeah, I've been around all kinds of booze and liquor and beers. Had a beer.
So
can
during
collection.
during all this, let's throw some RF at this. So you're running CB at this time, right? That's all you're doing in your life, right? Your college days, high school days. Any favorite CB antennas? Or rigs, radios.
Yeah, I was, man, believe it or not, I was a Radio Shack dude. And my first few rigs, my base station that I think I still have, it might be up in the closet next to the Commodore 64.
There you go.
It was a realistic base station. That was my baby.
Wasn't that sort of a copycat to the George Washington, to the Washington base? I think. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was similar, but not very similar.
Not cosmetically, but I think internally it was very close.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of rumors of who was making the Radio Shack product. Because as you know, Radio Shack outsourced everything. For a while there, I know for a while, I believe it was Lafayette or Pioneer made some of their low-end stuff. It's no different now when you go to Walmart and you're buying a Vizio TV. That Vizio model number is exclusive to Walmart only.
Absolutely.
That's okay. It's still hey, man, listen, if it works,
hasn't changed.
Good price,
hasn't changed. Yeah.
God bless you. It's right. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I think in every iPhone there's a Samsung battery. So they're competitors, but they're they're business partners as well.
They're business partners. Were you primarily using CB in a vehicle, in a car, truck, or at the house, or both?
Yeah,
both.
I had a HT, a walkie-talkie CB, a 40 channel. It was realistic also. Oh man, that thing was so much fun. I had a mobile CB unit.
Did the portable? Did it have the telescoping?
Yes.
Lift?
Yeah,
of course it did.
Yeah, and I've got all my stuff. It's in a box in storage somewhere, but I've got all my old stuff. And antenna wise, it was whatever I could afford, back then.
Sure, absolutely know that.
Whatever will get you on the air.
What was your? Do you remember your antenna?
Cushcraft. Cushcraft that was my first. It was a quarter wave antenna with 4 radials, and it took me and like 13 of my little buddies scrambling around to put this thing up while the dog was barking. It was crazy. I remember I'm pretty sure it was a Cushcraft. I'm pretty sure I bought it from Radio Shack though.
Because I'm trying to think because for a while there, if you remember Lafayette, you remember Lafayette stereos?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The Lafayette group, they had 23 channel CBs for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not every store sold them, depending on where in the country they physically were. Was it more urban environment, more country, a rural environment, a mall environment? They had a whole thing of where they sold their CBs and did not, and the various antennas, and it was. What I saw in the package was just a plain white vertical.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to like the Antron 99 antenna, but it wasn't an Antron. At least I don't think it was.
Yeah,
it didn't have the rings on it. It didn't have the tuning rings like the Antron 99.
Right.
But Lafayette, I do remember that in the late 70s, and that's how you could, or you had a choice of a mobile or some other type of weird. It wasn't NMO. It wasn't a 3. They had a really weird,
mount.
mounting. Yes,
Yeah,
that was exclusive to them only. You know, and
I remember
they
everybody
made it
back
work.
then on the CB, especially the guys that were, just talking up a storm on their base stations. They were colorful language that I remember growing up as a young kid thinking, man, these guys are so much fun to listen to. And they had the lingo, the 10 code. I'm 10
The
8,
10
10,
code,
10,
yep.
and yeah, 10 8, 10 10, and on the side
I'll be 10-10 on the side, good buddy.
10 7.
Everybody was a good buddy. Everybody was a good buddy.
Everybody.
Everyone's a good buddy.
So much
Now
fun.
everybody's just an OM.
And
Yeah,
so as a
exactly.
teenager, being into radios and being exposed to that stuff, I got into electronics, and that's sort of how I fell into my line of work.
Okay.
But I got into electronics, and I got into music, and I've been in the same band. So I'm actually a musician as well. I've been in the same band since 1988. We are the world's longest running Jake and Elwood tribute band in the world today.
And what do you play?
I'm a harmonica player.
Excellent. Look at this. Look,
Harmonica
Steve,
player.
I don't think we ever had a harmonic player on here.
I don't think so.
This is excellent.
But so I know we're running out of time, but that's
No. Keep on going. Keep on going.
I've been around wireless and communications and just pretty much all my life. And the ham radio hobby is kind of just natural for me. It just fits into my life, into what I like, and it's an extension of me. So it's great. Now, if I could get the wife to get her ticket, and we'd have so much fun. But she is completely opposite of me. I'm like the electronic geek dude, and she is into shoes and purses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does she enjoy going to the parks?
Nope, she doesn't.
Okay.
She doesn't like the outdoors at all.
Yeah,
At all. Opposites attract, I guess.
there you go. Well, speaking of parks, I'm gonna roll this back to radio a little bit here, and
Because
POTA.
that's what I want to do too.
I noticed you like Theodore Roosevelt Park.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that
Very.
just your
Why?
closest
Yeah,
one, or-
why? Yeah, why? We want to know
Yeah.
why. Tell us why.
No, because my hotel's right near there, so that's.
Oh, really? Okay. So the honest to God's truth, it's just the easiest park for me to get to from where I live. It's one turn, and then I'm down on George Washington Parkway, and then a right turn into the park. Plus, it's a 5 for.
Yep.
So I get to, and actually, I guess it's debatable, but it could be a 7 for. I haven't actually confirmed that personally myself. I have confirmed the 5 parks and how they all intersect, but it's easy for me to get to. I can get there in about 6 minutes from where I live.
Oh,
So when I want to go out for a smoke and do some POTA, that's just my park. But I have probably 5 other parks that are within 15 minutes of me.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm blessed too, like that.
You're saturated with parks. I mean,
Yeah.
We're all blessed.
my closest park is about 15 to 20 minutes by car from me.
Yep.
But it's a nice park. And
I've actually been in South Carolina. I forgot what park it was, but it was just off of a bridge going over to Hilton Head. There's a park right there.
yes, I know which one you're talking about. I've been down there.
Yep.
Hang on. Got to go back to your other page here.
While he's doing that, what do you usually bring to the park with you? What do you like to bring? Radio.
God. Yeah, I'm in love. I'm completely in love with the FX4CR.
You do like that, do you?
I blame Walt for that also. I do.
Oh, hell.
Yeah.
I just realized. No, the park that you're talking about
Yep.
is the one that's 15 minutes from me.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my God, you guys got to hook
Charlestown
up.
Landing. And
That's
that's actually where I met up with POTA Power on Wednesday.
Oh, it's actually a great park.
It is.
Yeah.
It's actually a zoo.
Is it really?
It is. If you go into the park, they have wildlife all throughout in natural habitats.
The FX4CR is my main. Right now, it's my main.
And why
POTA.
you like? Because I'm looking at the chat, and a lot of our friends who've been on the show, and we interact with them all in so many different ways. They're all
It's-
saying it too. Why do
It's
you
20
like
watt.
it?
It's 20 watts. It fits in the palm of your hand. It's 20 watts SSB. It's Bluetooth, so I can do FT8 right to my smartphone with no wires. And it's got all kinds of other things that like what's not to love about it. So yeah, so they're talking about it on the chat there.
Bob. Yeah, because again, Bob's been doing some stuff, down in his neck of the woods with antennas, and I forgot he has that.
So I did the whole Xiegu thing. I got the G90, I got the X6100, and when the FX4CR came into my life, I have not pulled out a Xiegu out of the closet since. There's just
really
no reason to. There's no. I mean, Walt would argue that the tuner, but I go out with my my antennas that are resonant, and I don't even need a tuner.
There you go.
If you had to use a tuner, would an MFJ?
I've got a beat up LDG Z100.
I was just gonna say the LDG with a matte. I'm sure a matte tuner could probably work for you. Any tuner, if you had to, if you're not gonna use resonant antennas. And what are you using to power it? A Biono battery?
Biono, yeah. I got 2 Bionos, and what I've been using recently is 18650s.
Yep.
Let's
look it up.
Yep. So these are just a 4 holder, and I just doubled them, and I don't have a and this will actually get me through pretty much a 2.5, 3 hour POTA on using the FX4CR.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're all sideband too, you said, pretty much, right?
Yes. So I'll try to do, I actually try to do the activation. I'll get 10 on sideband, and if there's a lot of people, I'll just keep going, but then I'll switch over to FT8 so I can smoke.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
FT8's the perfect break for me, so I can enjoy a cigar.
All right. So tell everybody about the Virginia DC parks that you operate in, because it's not like the park, because I don't know what it's like to be under that type of.
Some of them are tough.
It's tough. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think, Liam, of the different adjectives. Is it highly regulatory? How would you describe? Because you're not just pulling into the parking lot, and there's a pavilion, and there's how do you do it without a whole bunch of people coming up to you with a whole bunch of
the parks that are interesting, that they're like the memorials, the tourist spots, the monument and stuff. There is nowhere to park. So I would say the perfect way to describe the DC parks is challenging, because you're going to have to hike in to most of these parks, and what that's going to mean is you're going to have a small portable setup, backpack wise, or you're going to be humping a bunch of stuff. So,
but that's the easy part. But that's, I think, challenge me on this, or tell me I'm wrong. I think that's the easy part. I think the hardest is, what are you doing? Are you doing what, a tripod antenna?
Tripods. Yep.
Yeah. But how do you not get the attention?
Yeah.
In today's world of all of a sudden having a couple of black tinted vehicles pull up to you and say, "What are you doing? Who are you?
Well,
what are you doing?"
So here's the first kicker. The first trick on that is don't do it on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay, no, in all seriousness, you're right. Okay, I get it.
It's tough. I actually had to get a box of business cards printed, and my business cards. My business card here. I'll show you what my business.
This is who I am, and I'm not a threat to you. And I'm thinking, Steve. I'm also thinking, stay away from what cherry blossom season.
Yeah,
it's probably another big high.
Oh, actually, yeah. In the summer, DC is just all full of people walking around looking at everything, and then all the actual parks and memorials is where everybody goes. So you have to find a place that's off in a corner that's still within the boundaries of the actual park.
So do your homework, right?
Yeah,
so do your homework.
So there's
Rock Creek is a good one.
Just before I forget, so my cards have my information on it, my name, number, and so right away, I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. Who I always end up talking to multiple people. But on the back of my card, it says, "What is this radio guy doing?" and then I answer all. It's like an FAQ. I've got all the stuff.
Good
And
idea.
That satisfies everybody, literally, even the cops. So the park police. There's about 17 different security agencies in DC. All the different.
I did not know that. No
That-
kidding. I
and
didn't know there were 17
That's
agencies.
That's on a slow day.
Yeah, every agency has their own security force, but so there's the DC Metro, there's Park Police, there's the Secret Service right around the
Any
White-
3-letter agency.
Absolutely, all of them.
Uh-huh.
But I've never had a problem with any of. They all ask me questions. The number one thing they ask me is, do you have anything in the air, like a drone or something? Because that's not allowed. They typically don't like anything in trees, so no wires in trees, and they do not like anything sticking in the ground. So none of the ground spikes or the ground mounts that stick in the. And that's what I use a lot. But so I have the little chameleon ground spike. I've gotten away with it a lot.
You hear that, Bob? HOA Bob, you hear that?
Is HOA Bob in there?
Yeah, he's in the chat.
he's in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah.
I watch all those guys.
We had him on a couple weeks. I love watching his stuff.
Yeah,
It's just
good stuff.
But someone though, I'm going to assume that's a dangerous word.
Yeah, it is.
Like I have a surveyor's tripod that I've used a few times. It does have its pegs in the legs to give it some initial stability. But if you're really not looking, you don't know that has it. It's like it's unless you are a really connoisseur of tripod mass, of stuff that's going to hold camera equipment or audio equipment that can be used in our hobby, which a lot of us have and can use. But
it would attract a lot of attention. The big tripod like that. I don't know. I've gotten away with my small little tripod setup. It's the Wolf River tripod.
I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
it's the Wolf River tripod setup that I've used successfully. It's been fine. If I lay down on the ground and have my stuff on the ground, not on a little table or something, people they kind of because everybody like lays down and just relaxes on the mall grass over there.
Yep.
But if I had a big setup like a tripod or a little table and a chair, whatever, that just attracts a lot of attention. And around here, where everybody's walking around and everybody's looking at stuff, you just don't want to draw a lot of attention.
Right.
The park Lyndon Baines Johnson Park, the one that I go to because it's the easiest for me to get to, it actually has a parking lot and it has areas where you can actually be completely away from people. They've got picnic tables and all kinds of stuff. But some of the other parks are easier. There is a very, very, very small national park called the Francis Scott Key Park, and it's literally about 50 feet by 50 feet. I don't know if it's the smallest national park.
That's a tough one. Oh,
you have to have like a magnetic loop out of your backpack, and you're wearing your backpack. You know what I mean? It's one of those. So the parks in DC are challenging. Sometimes they're not even open. AI5 Sierra Mike, he came to DC to visit one time, and I actually did a twofer activation with him, a double operator activation with him. But he actually stayed and tried to do a bunch of the DC parks, and he couldn't get in to one or two of them because they were closed or locked off, and you couldn't do the activation within the bounds of the rules without actually being on the steps or something like that, and he couldn't get to them. So it's challenging. The DC parks are challenging, and maybe that's why it's a wild card. But I try to get out as much as I can because I know people are looking for DC.
So I go back to what I'm saying. Based upon what you're saying, I think the backpack with a radio, that's what it is. Battery pack, whatever it is. 50 feet of feed line. That's easy. Now comes the whole antenna thing. So, because you've always had a great signal here up to Connecticut every time I have worked you. Propagation, your whatever you are doing. So that's always encouraging to me when I'm hunting. I like to see where is propagation today.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, the Faraday cloth, when those were selling like crazy, did you purchase one? What do you think of that?
I've got one in the back of my Jeep right now. It's still in the wrapper. I haven't taken it out. I haven't needed to use it yet. I got it because I wanted to try it to see how it would work if I was going to do one of those. But the weather changed too quick on me. And yeah, so right now when I do POTAs as of this last month, I've been inside the Jeep as much as possible because it's just been too cold for me.
So now this is a new challenge for you, because for a guy like you who likes the DC parks, it offers a whole. We started off. It's a whole different challenge compared to a lot of other parks that some of us are accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
You get snow and ice up there. They're not. That offers a whole new challenge of either you can't even do that park, or can you go on the steps of or some sidewalk?
You could. Yeah. You gotta just look to see where the park begins, because if you can sit on the steps or whatever, that's actually a good way to do it. Or at the an entranceway to a park, people are going to be walking by you, but you can kind of set up there.
Because I've always pictured like the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
Would it be disrespectful to have your ham radio station, your go box, or your backpack over by his leg, or or is it just totally they're just not going to even allow?
I'm going to try that.
Oh Lord.
But see, I'm the kind of guy I would like to do it, but I would also respect if I should not be doing that.
Right.
Would that be disrespectful? Or does it show that this is America and we have these privileges and opportunities to do these things? Just be good about it. Don't deface it. And
you need a smaller setup than what you have, Izzo.
Yeah.
But how cool? Yeah. But how cool would that be? Well, I have the 705.
I would need the Get Smart shoe ham radio to do that.
Yeah.
Listen, I just think
G90.
Well, I'm thinking
FX4 CR.
Yeah, which is what he had. But I'm thinking again, you're going to do it on the Lincoln Memorial, sitting next to President Lincoln. Your challenge is your next challenge is going to be what are you going to do for the antenna? Unless you're going to run it like
the only reason why I think it has not been done. It hasn't been done yet is because Lincoln is actually sitting inside of an enclosed. He's inside it, and I think you would have to be out. You'd have to have your antenna outside of the actual structure.
Are your parks in DC open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like the museums?
No,
they're not. No. Okay.
Yeah, most of them, the outdoor ones, will close at sundown. Some of the ones that are just wide open, like the Washington Monument, they're closed, but people can still walk up and around them. So I could go to the monument right now and activate there, sitting on the lawn. If I
might be a little chilly, but
yeah, I'm sure somebody would ask me what the hell I'm doing.
That's what they make thermal underwear for. I mean,
yeah,
right. Let's see. God, there was so much to talk about. Nobody asked me why I wasn't dropping an ash. I'm actually sitting in my office. I'm indoors. This for everybody who's watching. This is an electronic cigar. The brand is Apollo, and it is Cuban cigar flavored. It's it's great.
Okay.
My wife does. You can't smell anything. It's just like a vape thing.
There you go.
But they come in different nicotine strengths. So.
Different, make you sweat, make you not sweat, enjoyable.
Right.
Well,
make you want to take a nap.
So you mentioned you log it as a 5 fur, but it could possibly be a 7.
It could be a 7 fur. So there is a gentleman that probably everybody knows around here. His name is Dell.
Yep.
Yes.
N3.
He's also in the chat.
Yeah.
Is he? Is Dell here?
I believe he is.
Yeah, I
But I
love
I've seen
saw
him from time to time.
Del
Yeah.
is the nicest guy in the entire world. He's a great ham.
Love
He's
working him. Yes, he's a gentleman. He is a
Mhm.
gentleman. I love working. Yes.
He's unbelievable, POTA. He's got so many freaking activations.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if anybody's gonna beat his record at some of these parks, but I mean, he's got like I've got 62 activations at this one park. He's got 13,000. It's something like that. It's
God.
crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
I see Dell over at the LBJ park all the time. One of the other parks that I love to go is called Fort Marcy. It's US 9900. I love this park because it's awesome. It's like right on the river, but they're doing construction on the George Washington Parkway, so there's no access. And the last 3 times I've activated there, I've actually had to hike in, and it's not an easy hike. So I've been working on my. It's not here. I've been working on my portable pack. I'm trying to slim everything down. A small portable station centered around the FX4CR. Yeah, but it's one of the challenges.
Well, this past Memorial Day when I was up, I actually did Dyke Marsh, which is kind of the other end of Arlington from you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a 7 fur.
It is a 7 fur. So I've never been out there yet, and I've heard of it, and I'm gonna have to get out there. How often do you get up this way?
Once a year. Every Memorial Day weekend, I come up for Rolling to Remember.
Nice.
So,
okay.
But yeah, I'll definitely hit you up when I come up this year if I get some free time.
It's
I'll be staying down in Springfield this year, but
cool.
You know what amazes me with you guys? I've been doing POTA for I don't know 6-7 years now. Love it. KAMRD poisoned me. Along with a few other people.
We blame him for the addiction.
Yeah,
always
yeah.
for a lot.
Every time I go to therapy, I start off. It's all Mike's fault.
Yep.
But what gets me is I mean, up here in Connecticut, we have some 2-furs. I think we may have a couple 3-furs, maybe. But when you guys talk about a 5-fur, a 6-er,
or 7,
a 7-er, like what? It's just I mean, something has to be so big that runs through it to make it, and then crisscross this thing, crisscross that.
Yeah. It's actually a pain in the ass for the parks because I have to give them all the parks so that they can get the park for all 5
numbers for you. Yeah.
But you will knock my socks off. You, Dell, Carrie one day, our buddy, I'm having a brain fart. A ham radio venture guy, James.
And
so many other people. When all of a sudden you're telling me, hold on, I think it's only a single park. Wait a minute, let me give you my other park.
Here's the list.
Here's the list. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Thank God. This is why I love Polo. I love the Polo. Just go up to the top, Adam, and bam. My Canadian friends up to the north of me, same thing. When they give me a 2-fur, 3-fur, 4-fur, I love that Polo. But when you're
thank you for mentioning that because I'm a hammers guy, and there's no easy way to do it. If I'm the 5-fur activator. If somebody gives me a bunch in hammers, I can just, next part.
Listen, I think when hammers initially came out, it was a saving grace for me because I didn't want to bring a laptop out there. Okay. And I was coming off of paper. I wanted to come off of paper. I was ready. It was sort of like, let's take the training wheels off the bike. I got shamed into it, but that's okay.
I was going to say there was a lot of pushing to get you in.
This is what brothers are for. This is what brothers are for. You're either going to do it or else we're going to beat the hell out of you until you can't write anymore.
I'll beat you into submission.
You beat me into submission, and I used it for a winter field day, and I loved it. I used something like that and I loved it. But then eventually I went into POTA for it. The only time I use paper now is when I want to make my lists because I love creating the list. It's my way of doing my activations. But you got to tell me, because when I cut over to Polo and I don't want to turn this into is Hammer's good or bad and lack of support. This is not what it's about. But some guy did take the time, and at the time it worked. But it just wasn't for me all the time.
Right.
Polo Sebastian is absolutely incredible. It just happened to meet my needs or exceed my needs as well as so many others. But how do you do it, Lamb? How do you you're looking at that thing? And do people ever say, no, that's a fifer? Why are you only giving me 4? I mean, I'm sure you do your homework like all of us, but it's got to be like, how did this crisscross? Are there trails going through?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
So actually, Dell's got he's got it worked out where he's got a system here in DC. So many parks. So you got the waterway, you got the river. Yep. You got the parkway. So the actual road, the parkway, is a park. It's part of a park, and it's inside multiple parks.
So he's the guru who did all the homework.
Yes.
And,
and so he sat down.
I
think 2 or 3 times he sat me down and showed me. So he not only does the POTA map, he goes the POTA map, then he'll go to the national park website, and he'll go to the local map. And he just takes all the information and puts it all together so that you can actually prove your case that yes, I can see where all these parks are intersecting by standing. He told me. So there's the Roosevelt Island Park. It's my 3rd favorite park to activate. Dell told me, if you're going to stay in your car, park your car right next to the porta potty, because the porta potty is where all the 5 parks intersect. So you've got the island, you got the river, you got the historic trail, you got the parkway, and so he's got it all down. Dell is the man, and Dell is so amenable to emails. Send him an email, tell him you're coming into DC and you want to know what park, whatever.
Next time I work him on the radio, I'm going to tell him that Lamb says you are the man, and now I know why you're the man.
The guru.
I don't want to tie up your activation anymore, Dell, but you're the man. You're the man. Thank you for all you do. I love
great. So Dell does satellite. He does UHF, VHF. He does.
How's he doing satellite from a park without being
easy?
So Dell
without being inconspicuous.
He's got this van. He's got a great setup. You got to have him on the show so he can tell you.
I'm making a note of it right now.
Yeah, Dell, if you're listening to this, contact Izzo and get on the show.
Yes,
but Dell's the guy. So he can actually tell everybody how to support and document the fact that you've got a multiple park activation. So if you got a 2-fer, a 3-fer, a 4-fer, or a 5-fer, Dell will tell you the system that he uses to actually document it and support it. Okay. And he's the one that told me that it's a 7-fer, and I believe him. It's such a hassle to rattle off 7 park numbers for people, so I don't do it.
James, does he have a van down by the river? He might. But can you imagine pulling into the park and that spot near that porta potty is being occupied because that porta potty user's inside?
I've actually asked people to move.
You got to rush in to kick that. Or some little old lady just sitting there, ma'am, I gotta have this spot, and she just wants to feed the birds or something.
So Dell is you guys will have to help me out with this. N2WK, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's close. Yeah.
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast today, so how am I going to remember call signs like that? But it's
Steve will get it for us. Steve has his access. His secret.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go into see what who I've worked in. I'll find him in there.
Dell has a big white van. It's like a big ass Sprinter van, and it's well known. The park police, the DC Metro, the state police. They all know his van.
Guy.
They all know him. That's great. He's good. Let him go. Let him through.
Yeah, It's so funny.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
I'm not finding him for some reason.
I think it's N2NWK. I'm almost. That sounds.
I think so too.
Yep, that's him.
Yep.
You got it. There
That
you
was
go.
close. That was close, if not right on.
Yeah, 10,287 activations, 82 parks, and 369,410 QSOs.
Wow.
Wow.
The man's machine.
And that's just in the DC area, you think?
No,
Or-
that's all POTA.
Oh, okay, that's all POTA. Okay, but still very impressive.
Actually, I can pull his stats here.
He's a POTA machine. He's everywhere.
He's like James. He's like James. He's like Carey. So many other great people like
Yep.
that.
2,803 activations at 14 unique parks, 102,995 QSOs just in DC.
Wow.
Jeez.
So Del, when you go out, it's just again backpack it. Just a simple backpack, throw it out, and keep it simple, stupid. The KISS method works for you.
You talking to Del?
No, I'm sorry, Lamb. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said Del, didn't I? I'm sorry.
You
The
did.
medication, the medication's kicking in.
I'm like, man, if Del could actually answer that would be some kind of technology.
Well, we have pulled off some
Sign me
incredible
up.
stuff here.
Yeah. Have you, yes. So it's if
Just
I'm
keep it
not
simple.
doing a Jeep thing, I keep it very simple, and it's the entire Radio Shack in my backpack.
All right, now let's switch over. When you're home, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you play at home? What do you want to do? As far as radio, what do you want to?
I wish I could. I can't.
There's just nothing. There's just nothing at all
No
to.
signal at all.
You can't sneak something outside and just make the best of it. Or
I took a Zeppelin. You guys know a Zeppelin antenna?
I've heard of them. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. It's like a 64-foot long wire, kind of an end fed, but it's called a Zep antenna because they used to hang it out of a Zeppelin. So I took my balcony. So I'm on the top of a high-rise building or 22nd floor. I dropped my Zep antenna there, and I'm like, I got to be able to get something, some signal. I got nothing but static and noise from the building, and because the whole building is steel, and my balcony, it's like almost like a Faraday cage in itself, surrounded by metal. I can't play radio at all.
I didn't know if you were doing some SDR stuff, if you were remoting still.
I was gonna say, he needs a remote setup like Shane's got.
Yeah.
Mhm. They
Yeah,
come in
like-
handy.
Yeah,
They
Shane,
do.
where are you at?
I'm in Dallas, or north of Dallas,
Okay.
in an apartment building. I just looked. I've got into NWK in my logbook from January of 2021
Mm-hmm.
on FT4.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's very prolific. He's
He's probably sitting in a van down by the river.
right now.
watching DC.
Playing FT4 or FT8. Yep.
And
Hey,
nobody
now-
was bothering because they all know who he is. Nobody bothered him.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, so I have so many freaking antennas, and I just want to be able to use them, play with them, and my wife can't understand why I collect so many different types of antennas. My most interesting one is my go-to antenna. It is a shunt fed. Have you guys seen
Yeah,
this?
it's a cool. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a cool
Yeah.
antenna.
From TN07. Yeah.
From TN07.
Piano
Yeah.
sound. Yes, correct.
Got the
It works
copper
like a
rods.
charm. Works like a charm.
Yep. I run what they call it, the bullet. It's a solid grenade style.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm using it for years. As a matter of fact, that's my backup. That's sort of like my secondary right now to the to my off center and my DX commander now. I just don't want to take it down.
Yeah.
I ran it all summer. Every time I had to cut the grass, I just moved it and cut the grass and then put it back up again. It's just one of those great days. They're just great antennas.
Mm-hmm.
It works. So it's like,
Yeah, I listened to you guys talking. I think it was last week about that Faraday antenna or whatever that was.
The Faraday.
Faraday.
Yep, we had him on the show. What an incredible history with this guy with
Yeah.
props, movie props, TV stuff, and he just wanted to do something. He just one of those guys who just wants to stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and
Right.
do something. You know.
Okay. So, Lam, I want to ask you a question. And I'm going to start a little controversy here.
Oh, here we,
Oh.
all right.
Here
Hang
we
on.
go.
Let's crack the knuckles. Let's crack our knuckles.
Because, you've got that plethora of multi-parks up there by you. So I've got, and I'll add it to the screen here, Fort Sumter National Historic Park, okay,
Mhm.
which is where the Civil War got started. And it's out here, by itself in the bay. And then we have Fort Moultrie over here. Now, if we look at the National Park Service website,
Mhm.
it says Fort Sumter and Fort Moultrie. And notice I went from the Fort Moultrie side.
Yep. I see where you're going with this.
Does that count as a twofer?
So, as a quick reference, what does the POTA site show?
Well, so if we go to POTA, it only shows Fort Moultrie up here. All right. And we go back and zoom back in here on Charleston. Fort Sumter actually has the activator will need to transport radio gear from the boat to the fort area.
Interesting.
So
If that were here in DC, what Dell would say, so I'm quoting Dell now. So this can't come back on me. If you're living in DC, you learn how to talk like this. You become Teflon. Nothing comes back to me. What Dell would say is, so if you check the National Park Service, and then you check who administers the park. And so
Right.
whoever administers the park, you have to include their jurisdiction for that park, and their jurisdiction may be halfway in the water.
Well, so I'm going to take it a step further.
Mhm.
Let's
But-
change
but
tabs.
But wait, there's more.
Let's change tabs on you here.
But wait, there's more.
The National Park Service GIS map,
Yeah.
the purple is the park boundary for Fort Sumter and Fort Moultrie.
Mm-hmm.
So Fort Sumter out here in the water, Fort Moultrie here, and then there's this little sliver over here that's the lighthouse on Sullivan's Island.
And it's not touching.
They are not contiguous, but they are all the same park.
This is a great question.
Okay, so we have that something similar here in Connecticut. One of them is called Cockaponset Forest.
Okay.
Cockaponset Forest has
Sure.
numerous locations in Connecticut, including in my town. So it doesn't make a difference what they all don't touch. Does that help, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cockaponset Forest. I could be in one town. You could, Steve comes up here. You could be in another section of the forest, whether it's 1 mile or 5 miles away or 30 miles away, and we're still in Cockaponset Forest.
But on the map, if the parks don't touch on
There's
the
your
map,
answer, Steve.
I know.
It may not mean that they are actually not connected. So,
But it doesn't say they have to touch. It just says that their boundaries have to intersect.
that's
Well-
correct.
If they share the same boundaries, they intersect.
They intersect, yes.
Right. So to me, to answer your question, since the question was for me, I'm a little bit of a purist that way. I would go by the letter of the law or whatever the rule is. And if I can't show and support the fact that the boundaries intersect, then it's not a twofer for me. I wouldn't log it as a twofer personally.
But with the boundary having the name of both parks,
Yeah.
for
So that's
all three boundaries,
I would-
That's proof enough for me. It's a hobby.
And
Right.
Wait.
Right.
I could make it a fourth location actually, because the ferry landing downtown also, if it'll do it, is part of the park. If you really want to go fight downtown Charleston traffic to
Man.
activate.
Yeah. So that's
That's a threefer.
No, because it's still only 2 reference areas.
So it's a twofer.
So it's
So
a
you can
twofer.
go to the ferry and log it as a twofer, or
Yes.
you could take a boat out there and log it
Or,
as a
or
twofer.
you could pay the $40 to ride the ferry out there.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
I
if you
would
can
say-
if you can show me that the park extends into the water, then I say that's an easy twofer.
Oh, let's see if I
Oh.
can. So there's the actual park itself. And the boundary is all of this purple.
Is it in the water?
It is completely in the water.
Yeah. So it's intersecting.
Mhm.
Let me pour one more bourbon and I'll give you my final.
No.
What
Fire
website is
cigar.
that, Steve?
This one is arcgis.com. I was looking for the actual Facebook post that I kind of started this fight on, and I think somebody may have
That had
taken
to
it
be-
down.
That had to be interesting.
Oh, I'm sure they were throwing stones at you.
Oh yeah, they were absolutely throwing stones. But the fun
See,
part
it's a
about
hobby,
this,
folks, it's a hobby.
that section
Don't
that's
get
in
all
the
bent
park,
out of shape over a hobby.
Don't get your panties in a wrinkle on
Don't
top of
get
your
your-
antenna.
Don't get your knickers in a twist.
Don't get your power poles all twisted up.
Yeah, come on, it's a
The
hobby,
section-
kids.
the section that's in the water, happens to be in the ferry lane. So you don't want to anchor your personal boat there, because now you're in the way of a government contractor. And it's not a safe place to be in a small boat because of the way the current comes in. There's always a whirlpool that happens right there.
Don't like whirlpools.
No. But
How did you get the USA? I can't get the park labels to show up. Anyway, we'll do it offline.
yeah, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, good question though. Good fodder for discussion. You got to get
Oh.
Dell back
It's
on.
a great way to piss people off on Facebook.
Good job, Steve.
Way to go, Steve.
And-
You
and-
done lit the fire under
I
the POTA
said it-
Facebook
the-
group. We're going to have conversations for a
listen,
year.
The
Mike,
first
That
show.
guy
Firefly
on
is right
YouTube
over
is
there.
not doing it correctly.
Firefly is right over there. I will meet you there any day you want. Let's go have one.
It was the second or third show. Molson said he's the quiet one. You got to be careful of Steve. He always said that. Molson always said
May
that.
have. He
Now-
may have.
See, now all of a sudden. See, Molson's right.
It's all about getting out into the great outdoors and having fun with the hobby.
Mhm.
Come on.
And making
What?
people. Never mind.
But why, Steve? Are people saying to you, you
They're
better
saying
give me that second park number?
Well, no, they're saying it's not a twofer because the parks are 3 miles apart.
All right.
But they're
So
connected by water.
Okay, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, minus a park to park station, me as a hunter, you're out there, I don't give a shit.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Right.
You're
Exactly.
out there.
To
You're out there.
Rick's point, a little more bourbon and none of us are going to care.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you,
Absolutely,
Rick.
Rick. Yes.
Absolutely. It's on you. It's what you feel. If you feel you're doing, if you're ethical
Mhm.
about what, I had that with one of my parks here. That's a Connecticut, Massachusetts, not New Jersey, of New Hampshire, Canada, maybe. I'm not sure if it is, but still. And I had one of the federal gaming guys tell me exactly where I am to confirm it. The website was not 100%. I felt I was correct. I just happened to see the gaming guy here, and I said, "Hey, am I here where I'm? This is what it is." He says, "Absolutely." He says, "How do you know that name?" And then it gets into the whole, "I'm a ham radio operator. This is what I do." And
Well, and to take that a step further, the head ranger covers both parks.
I would say.
Wait, say that again?
The head ranger is
Yeah.
the same for both parks.
Wow.
I have his cell number. I've got his, he handed me his business card one day. He's like, anytime you're coming out, you'll let me know. Because I actually asked him about camping out overnight on Fort Sumter and just lighten it up till I run out of battery.
Yeah.
And I was going to take a 100 amp hour battery.
Well, here in DC, some of the trails are miles and miles long, and so somebody can be in a trail 5 miles from the park I'm in, and he's activating my park as well.
Right, correct. And it just have to be 100? Is it 100 feet? Is it 50 feet one way? 50 feet.
I think
as long as you're on the trail,
you have to be within 100 feet of the trailhead. I think
100 feet of the trailhead. Right, that's all.
And by God, if you're not, I'm going to come out there with a tape measure.
I'm going to have a tape. Yes,
I'm going to call the POTA police, and you're fired.
I have my Home Depot tape measure, which also doubles as an antenna.
And I'll measure it twice, once metric, once imperial.
Oh, yes, I will. I'll give it to you in centimeters if I have to.
You're 102 feet out. You can't log this part.
But
this trail.
Your coax crossed the line.
Yeah.
Chris, to respond, yes, they will allow radios on the island of Fort Sumter. A few of our club members have done it. Yeah, I think they're absolutely insane because the cost of the ferry ride out to get out there, when the Park Service isn't allowed to take a boat out there, they have to take the ferry themselves.
That's dumb.
Because the contractor that runs the ferry has to pay for the repairs of the dock. So he will not allow anybody else to use the dock.
So it always comes back to money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's government contracts.
Take a DX Commander out there, set it up, and you'll do fine.
And just remember, back a long time ago, tobacco was like money. It was a method of
currency.
Yeah. But I'm going to post it one more time. I think wrong one. Well, I think Rick is 100% right. There we go.
More bourbon, we don't care.
We just don't care. Bob, so Rick, that is going to be the new logo on the Clubhouse wall. I think we're going to take a wood burn. I have a wood burning set, and I'm going to put it on the wall. Maybe we'll put it in the bathroom. So
it's
one more cigar, one more bourbon. We're not going to care.
We're not going to care. But I got to say, the comment that you snagged just before that, Jason, our buddy there, I kind of agree with him. No twofers, no threefers. It's only a single park. In the spirit of the event, everything should be one park. Because they overlap, okay, fine. The trails, whatever.
You done summoned him.
Yeah, but
don't say his name. Don't say his name.
No, he's here already.
The island park. So Roosevelt Island Park that I love to activate.
Mm-hmm.
When I upload it, it asks me, "Are you in DC,
Maryland,
or Maryland?"
Yeah, mine does too. Right.
Yeah. So I usually pick DC because people need DC.
Yep.
But excuse me, I'm also a concealed carry guy.
Okay.
And I'm in Virginia, on the island. So, I mean, it kind of depends on who the audience is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had one of my parks here in Connecticut started off as a single. They added a park, which happened to be this waterway trail, which went slicing through the park. And somebody sent me an email saying, "How come you didn't give me a twofer?" One, I'm looking at my log. We weren't park to park. You're a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do we care? At the end of the day, have some. Where's Rick's comment? Have some more bourbon. Who cares?
Have another bourbon. Yep.
The software just didn't do it right.
Yep.
No. It's just that the
POTA
date
software didn't match it up. So
the date of when I worked them, that part could not have been a twofer. It was only a one. It was only a single part. I was not about to throw down, argue, point out what it's just, guys.
Well,
these numbers and certificates don't really mean anything. They really don't.
It's a piece of paper.
unless you have a hole in the wall that you need to cover the paper up with.
Or you have some nasty wallpaper.
I told
Have you
Jason
seen the
Johnson.
paint job that's on my wall.
Yeah,
That's why I have all this stuff.
I told Jason Johnson a long time ago, I will support you guys not only with doing this but financially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. You don't need. I don't want the awards. You know what I'm doing? I'm going out and I'm having fun. Period.
There you go.
Period.
Well, so Dell asked the question: if it's only one park, do you get 10 plus contacts for one, and then start over and call it a rove?
Ah!
Good point.
Oh boy, get out a
Good
bottle
point.
of bourbon for that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I will say
I'm gonna cough a lung up. Hang on, I
Yeah.
gotta beat myself.
when I was out with our folks from POTA Power, we got this gentleman here. 5 parks from England to Charleston, South Carolina on 10 meters.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
And that's all park to park right there. That was
nice.
Nice.
fun.
I got my first German park to park the other day.
Nice. There you go.
Lamb, what do you think of what do you think of like when the EA4s come in, want to banging and work?
Oh, it's awesome. Isn't
it awesome? It wakes you up, doesn't
I
it?
love it. I get nervous though because my ears aren't trained for the accents and the call signs, and I'm like, can you repeat, please? Come back again with you.
Well, and the England park that we got is 2 Echo 0 Hotel Papa India. Whoever was writing down the log put 2 Echo Oscar Hotel Papa India.
Ooh,
How drunk was she?
That's a fat finger.
I never said who it was, Don. Don't be
Ooh.
calling anybody out.
Man.
Well, there's only listen. We have a 33% chance it was either you, him,
Could have
or
been
her.
me.
All right,
It could've
man.
been
We
me.
have a 33%
Yeah, one in
chance.
3 chance.
Yeah. Joe Brett, what do you think? Welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what he said.
Have another bourbon.
Actually. So
What are we drinking?
Tonight.
What are we drinking?
A scotch.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Don't ask me what kind. The only thing I could see from the counter was it said scotch.
It just said Scotch.
It may be from the Dollar Tree. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
It's okay.
Dollar Tree Scotch.
Well, Dollar Tree Scotch could be what 100% proof,
That's-
right? Or 93% proof.
That's like gas station sushi. Come
I was
on.
pretty.
or
Oh,
gas
pretty
station
worried.
cigars. That's a gas station cigars.
I go down there and I can't find the drinks, and I'm like, the woman at the counter was like, "Can I help you, sir?" And I'm like, "Yeah, y'all ain't got no drinks up in here." I didn't walk around the corner far enough. She's like, "This is all we got left." She had like 4 beers and like some clear liquor, and I was like, just throw me some scotch."
There you go.
Is it
Hello
good?
to everybody.
Is it smoky? Is it a good scotch?
It's not bad, but
Mike
Oh.
says nectar of the gods.
Nectar of the gods. There you go.
There we go.
it's not bad. But it definitely is not my 4 roses. But
Not your 4 roses or your 10 cup, huh?
yeah. Mm. But
Hey,
anyway, hello to everybody in the chat. I can't log in for some reason with my YouTube account, so to type back. So
Yeah.
I've seen all the hellos. So hello.
It took me a while too. I don't know why, but I'm finally in.
Oh yeah. Well,
Joe's at a remote location tonight, so. And I'm surprised you got
He's on
permission
a
to come
secret-
on.
he's on a
Witness
secret
protection?
mission. Secret
she went to the
mission.
pool. It's got an indoor pool, so I was like, all right,
Oh, nice. All right.
You going to the pool?
Pool.
I'm going to go jump on with the boys. Got it.
go on
There
the
you go.
bar. Yeah.
Izzo, did you fall off a ladder last week? Is that what I heard? Or was that?
No.
I can't remember. Bumped his head.
No, I fell off a
Trying to
ladder.
invent time travel.
No, I fell off. I got stuck in it. I'm just trying to think what mishap
your
I've had.
your DX commander broke.
What?
No. Okay.
Uh-oh.
The 17 meter. No, I told this story. What I did.
Okay.
The 17 meter wire snapped. No,
Okay.
the
Yeah, that
paracord
was it.
cord.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And-
bungee.
and the bungee. I'm trying to figure out how to get up there, and there's just really no. And I didn't want to take the antenna down, so I emptied up the back of the back of the pickup truck, backed the truck up to the antenna. Took
Is
out
that what she called?
well, oh yeah, almost.
Mhm.
I took out the ladder. You know the ladder that you could adjust. You know, ka-chink, ka-chink, you know, you pull. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I just had a, and then I repurposed it. I'm sorry, I moved the truck again, and I had Jennifer hold the ladder. I don't know what she was going to do if it slipped, but I got the rubber
I wish
mat.
this was on camera.
I got the rubber
One
mat
of these
on the
days.
bottom of the truck anyway, so it's like unless a big wind comes.
I tell you, never mind.
But then again, all of a sudden it started getting windy, and I'm like, "What? And can I just need 10 minutes?"
And
I
this
felt-
is the guy that won't go up in a hot air balloon, won't
No,
go
yeah.
skydiving with
No.
us.
No, I got
Oh,
stuck
God.
when we had the property when we were renting the property. I climbed the tree to because the dipole, one end of the dipole got stuck, and I got my foot stuck in the
Mhm.
tree.
I remember that story.
And I had to call Sue, and she was like, "What do you mean you're stuck in the tree?" I'm like, "You need to come home." And she says, "No, I'm not going to come home right now. you gotta wait."
You have to hang out in the tree.
Yeah,
I have to take a work call, guys. I'll catch you
Yep.
on
call.
I vaguely
Right.
remember her taking the ladder from you when you were on the roof.
That was another time when she got mad at me. She got mad. I said something stupid, did something stupid. I said
Go
something
figure.
stupid. And I apologized. And I
Not
went up
well
to go
enough.
I went up to go change the battery in the weather station because it gives me a little alert that says, transmitter low power. And
Okay.
I said to her, "Can you hold the ladder?" She said, "Okay." And then I got on top of the garage. I'm doing all of a sudden I see the ladder going that way. I'm like, and I see her carrying. I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she's like, "Say you're sorry." I said, "I did say I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry." I'm
About
like,
what you did.
I'm really, really, I'm even more sorry now.
It's always the quiet ones.
She
Mhm.
had her way. She had her way of getting
Uh-huh.
back at me. And when I made a mistake, and when I really made a mistake, and then after that, you come down, you get a hug and a kiss, and
Is she a ham?
no, she was not a ham. No, she was not a ham. She supported me 100%. Just like my girlfriend. My girlfriend now, Jennifer, supports me 100. My first time, I took my girlfriend Jennifer out. I taught her how to roll out the coax, set up the antenna. Matter of fact, bring in the antenna, bring in the coax in. I said, no, not that you're doing it wrong. It's not the particular way of doing it. And I taught her the figure 8 way of rolling coax up so it doesn't tangle. I
Mhm.
call it the KAMRD method. Although it's been around for and no, I've been
always got to
lucky.
bring Mike into the conversation.
I am very lucky to have some great women in my life who support
Mhm.
me or put up with me, depending on your point of view. So,
Well, Joe Brett is Chris Kringle, according to the.
that flannel, he's really wrong. He's rocking the flannel tonight.
He just needs that Christmas hat. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Now you look good, Joe. The
I
camera's
was going to say,
perfect.
I think we've got one with the Clubhouse logo.
Oh, it has to be ordered.
Joe, what's your call?
K5YVY.
There it is.
Yeah.
You might be in my log somewhere. That sounds very familiar. I get from DC. I get like a straight shot to Texas all the time.
Oh yeah,
I pick up a lot of Texas stations.
I've gotten some DC. So.
Are you where in Texas are you?
No, I'm in Mississippi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mike Sierra.
All right.
The landmass between Louisiana and Alabama.
Hey, Lambert, you were mentioning before
he's not
about your antennas. What
Yes.
Just a single wire? You just running basically a quarter wave?
So my POTA antenna right now is the real potable antenna.
Okay.
Resident 40, 20, 15, and 10. Love that antenna. It's so easy and it just packs up nice. I don't have to worry about it. It's in a hard enclosure. And then my other antenna is the 17-foot chameleon.
All right.
Okay.
So the first with the wire is that the one that has the reel?
Yeah.
It's
The
in like a
fishing reel.
chalk line. No, well, it's in a
The
chalk line.
Okay, the chalk line.
Chalk line,
I've seen
chalk
that.
line, yeah.
Yes. Gotcha. I've seen that one.
Great antenna. Great antenna.
You really like that, huh? Because I was looking at it. I was
do.
wondering what to do.
I mean, it's I get 1-to-1 on 40, 20. I'm sorry, on 10, 15, 20, and about 1.2 to 1 on 40. I mean, it's just I don't have to think about it. It's a great antenna.
Because the last time I went to therapy, and my therapist asked me, they said, you're not thinking of not buying another antenna. I said, of course I am. I just haven't decided which one.
I will say,
I love it.
we use that Flatlanders antenna that you can buy on Etsy. And same thing, 40,
nice quality,
20, 10,
nice quality though,
great quality.
How much is it? Thank you for spending my money because now I'm gonna have to go look that up.
$80.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's
Hang on.
nothing.
Talks amongst yourselves. I'll grab the link here.
That's just two tanks of gas. That's a half a box of that's what $80. That's $10 cigars. Think of it for easy math.
Perfect.
So Lawnmower asks, "What's with the brightly lit room? I'm not in my studio." So,
what do you normally like in a bat cave somewhere?
Yeah, he's got
he's in the back. That is a bat cave. Joe's bat cave at home.
Yes.
Okay.
In the cave. And Lamb, I wish I knew you a little earlier because I spent a week up in DC. Could have met up with you or something.
Come on down, man.
At least had somebody to walk around the National Mall and stuff with me.
Absolutely.
I was a lonely tourist.
Hey, well, reach out to me anytime. I had a guy, God, I cannot remember his call. The active ham in Hawaii. He came out to DC.
Eric.
Yes, Eric. I can't remember his call. It's a 6 call, I think.
KH6
WI Whiskey India.
Whiskey India. Kilo Hotel 6 Whiskey India. Yeah.
We met up. We did a we did the Lyndon Baines Johnson Park together. A bunch of guys. I meet up a bunch of guys. Hit me up on email. Send me a text. Hit me up on the POTA Facebook page, and I'm very ham friendly.
It's likely I'll be back at some point. May not be in the near future, but I got some more.
Well, Joe, let's kind of do this maybe for spring, summer, because like
Memorial Day weekend. Let's just take
no. We'll skip it there, but again, with snow on the ground, it just gets it even more challenging to where it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So there you go, Steve. That's the antenna.
I'm already planning my winter field day. So
there you go.
What are you going to do for that? What's your plans?
I'm going to go out to one of the parks here. And I'm going to ask for permission. I'm going to try to do an overnight. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, the Lincoln Memorial. Sit on Lincoln's lap.
Well, if it's a lady you're going to ask permission for, just start out with how nice she looks and compliment her hair. And
right.
He's got to ask the National Park Service.
Well, it's still got to be a he or she that he talks to.
True.
I got to
to
give me approval still. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's the Flatlanders. I put the link in the chat.
You know what the Flatlander makes me think of?
What?
Our old buddy Ariel, the scientist Ariel.
Yep.
Yes. Oh my God, Joe. Yes.
He was working on something similar.
But it's all 3D printed. Toroid on the inside with the
Toroid, boy.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool.
But put 100 watts through it, no problem.
Do you have this antenna?
I do not. That it actually belonged to the POTA Power folks.
Like you did.
I'm ordering one.
Have you used it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We used it at 5 different parks.
So you sitting over there like you put 100 watts through it, like you done it.
We did
You sure?
at 3 different parks at least.
It wasn't 90 watts or 105. It was 100.
I mean, it was a 705, so it probably had the OVF light on, or the 7300, so it had the OVF light on all the
Put 10
time.
watts in it. You should talk about 100.
7300.
Oh, okay.
I screwed up and said 705, but no,
Yeah.
they had their 7300 out there.
I
Right.
never run my FT891. I have never run that at 100 watts. I'm 80 watts or lower all the time.
Which one? I'm sorry. The
F891.
91.
When I was in Hawaii, I was running my 891 at 100 watts, but yeah, I might have been pushing 80, 85.
Yeah.
So
Not much of a difference there.
no.
On the
Let's see if Joe Brett has had any coffee. Too bad we can't zoom in on this.
Let's see.
I wasn't sure what tomorrow's wardrobe was. They was talking about the plaid, but it's green
Ooh.
plaid tomorrow. So.
Nice. Look,
Plaid or plaid?
Yeah, plaid or plaid.
Plaid or plaid?
I was gonna say, Joe, are you in northern Mississippi? Because you're in long sleeves, so
No, I am in Jackson, Mississippi.
okay.
Jackson, Mississippi. Man,
Jackson.
I've been there twice. Been there
Oh, yeah?
twice. I used to work at SkyTel.
Did you bring a radio with you?
As long as you was forced to be there. That's, if you came to Jackson on pleasure.
why does SkyTel? Why does
I
that
don't
company
know about
name
it.
sound familiar?
I used to sell pagers. I told you I've been in wireless all my life.
Paging. Okay, so it was part of the
SkyTel was
paging.
the
That's
pagers,
SkyTel.
yeah.
That's where.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's you're talking.
Jackson, Mississippi.
I think for me, SkyTel was what early '90s. I think maybe
Early
mid-90s.
90s.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's wow. You brought
So
one
we
way out of
we got purchased by MCI. So I was working at SkyTel. Then MCI came and bought us. Oh man! And then
wow.
And
You
then-
brought out some
and
real
then WorldCom happened. WorldCom was that
WorldCom. That's right. Oh my
that whole
God.
big scandal, that financial scandal with WorldCom. It's crazy.
Wow.
Goodness.
Well, there was a steak place. What's there? I don't know if it's still there or not because this is going back to the 90s. There was it was the nicest restaurant in town in Jackson.
That's not saying much.
The
It was
Whataburger?
I thought the Waffle Houses were all the nice
Whataburger. No,
places.
I do
happened to-
love me some Whataburger though.
Yes.
Waffle House and Howard Johnson's. What happened?
Oh,
What happened to Howard?
There was a steak place. I think it was inside the hotel. I can't remember.
Yeah, there is a lot of nice places. We went to one we went to a place tonight. I had to get the Google app to figure out what the hell the menu was. And
There you go.
the second thing I looked up was like a Terry's or Terry's something, and I punched it in Google, and it's a damn ligament in your back. I was like, the hell they serving human here. And then I said, let me add the word dish after this, and then it comes from a cow, but it still comes from the shoulder. But
Wow.
I think it's like a poor man's steak or something. But
So you went with a beef tongue.
I had the short rib. That's what I went with.
Nice.
okay.
It's hard to flavor rib and pork, but
Nah.
I've only driven through
the
Jackson,
smoker.
Mississippi because it was in the way.
in the way. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We used to, for work, about every 2 years, I used to come to a conference down here for work. And what do they do at the end of it? They hand out these questionnaires, these surveys. And what's always the last question on it? What can we do to make it better? And every year I write, have it anywhere but Jackson. You got all these nice communities on the outskirts. So 8 years goes by, and I write that every time. Well, I leave that agency, or as I'm getting ready to depart that agency and go to my current one, guess where they had that son of a gun? The county right next to where I live. So I was like, really?
Of course.
It took you quitting just for them to move it.
Yeah. So I told the guy taking my spot, I said, well, you better jump on that. They probably won't ever have it there again. But if they hand out a survey, this is what you write.
There you go.
Oh man, this was
Yeah.
so much fun. Thanks for
Gentlemen,
having me,
we've
you
gone
guys.
2 hours.
Hey, listen,
got here,
before-
man.
Wait a minute. Before we run, we gotta do
Yep.
something quick for this guy. We gotta do 2 important things.
We
and Then
do.
I gotta run and take my meds and go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
Let's get a motion to make this guy a member of the clubhouse. So
You got
we
your
can-
motion.
And all right, and
Got a
boom,
second?
you're in.
Second, the Lamb of
There you
Ham.
go. There you go. Lamb, you are no longer a guest. You are family. You are a clubhouse member. You'll start getting those dues that say 0. You'll get that MailChimp email from us. You're going to get, no, we're only kidding with you.
That's
But-
all right. I would love some spam from you guys.
Nah, you're not going to get nothing from us.
You're
Not
fried
even
or just
the
something?
real spam. You're not even going to get the real spam from us.
I
I'm
like
Filipino. I love spam. Spam and rice. I gotta have the rice, man.
There you go.
All right. Are you ready
For the lightning
the
round.
lightning round of questions?
I'm ready.
Born ready.
All right, Lamb. Just shout out whatever the first thing that comes
It's
to your
dangerous.
head.
That's dangerous.
Chicken,
Mhm.
fish, or steak?
Steak,
How do you like your steak?
medium.
What do you put on like on the plate? What kind of fixings or sides would you have on it with it? Anything you want.
Potatoes and veggies.
All right.
Okay. Yep.
Favorite ice cream? Flavor?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Okay.
Potato chips. You like potato chips, munchies, that kind of stuff?
Absolutely.
Do you like barbecue potato chips?
I do.
Oh man.
Izzo, you're gonna lose that one every time, brother.
Yeah, we've had a few surprises, but it's still
The-
like
the- the- the Lay's-
you got
Lay's
honey
hickory
barbecue, mesquite,
Yep.
hickory.
yeah.
Lay's Lay's has got some hickory smoked potato chips out right now, and they're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Your final question: what's your favorite band?
The Blues Brothers.
The Blues
Nice.
Brothers. Look at him. Nice.
He has watched the show.
He has watched the show. And from a ham radio perspective, what's your favorite band for a ham radio?
I've been loving 10 lately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like 10.
Ten's
Isn't it-
popping.
Isn't it very interesting when you
There's
go
a
in?
lot of good DX right now.
Yes. Well, for morning, early afternoon, it's great.
Mhm.
I just find it amazing looking. I was hunting the other day and it was amazing. You go to the POTA page and 10 meters is like 20 meters was.
Mhm.
There's like 13, 14, 15 entries, line by line. And you go into 20 meters, there's like 43 people, 43 stations there. But it's fun to see the 10 to 12, the 15 meter activations, so
Absolutely.
I've
right,
I've got barbecue chips and a can of spam in the cupboard right now, and
go.
that is Valhalla for me.
all right. All right, we're gonna go around the horn and wrap it up here. Put a bow and a tie string on this thing, and Jody, thank you very much for the $5. We appreciate it. So, Lamb, tell everybody where they can find you besides on the air, or where on the air they can find you. And
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Whiskey 3 Lima Alpha Mike. It is showtime, and you can find me up and down the bands on POTA almost every weekend. So check the spotting page.
there you go. And look
Edge
for
of
his
my envelope.
Facebook. And look for his Facebook.
That's right.
And when
right.
and if you want to comment, don't comment about the antenna or the radio. Say, what are you smoking? What are you
Gotta be-
smoking?
Cigars on the air. It's
There you go,
coming.
cigars.
It's coming.
Joe Brett, what do you got?
Man, I posted in Discord the other day, something been weighing heavy on my heart, man, here lately. And if I got this feeling that like I need to do a video for the month of December. So I may do a video for the month. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
I did. I scored me a new little toy that
Ooh.
like everybody else that's got one should be probably pretty jealous of.
What is it? What is
I
it?
don't know that they meant to sell it at the price that they sold it at, but I
The-
grabbed the only one they had.
DJI Pocket 2, or is that the 3?
That's the 3.
Uh-oh.
It came with the battery extender.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was a taser. I thought for
Nah.
Came with an SD card. It's so I'll end up giving about just a little over 300 for that.
Not bad.
Brand
Not
new,
bad.
yeah. It's like
So what was everybody's Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchase?
that was mine.
That was yours.
Yeah. Well, before that, because I tried that purchase for like 5 days. All right, the local Sam's Club, which most people know it as Costco and everywhere but Mississippi, but it's equivalent.
Mhm.
They had it on their website, but it sold out like that, and I kept checking it like 1,000 times a day, and
Mhm.
it kept saying it was out of stock. And I kept trying to check out anyway. Got to catch that glitch. Monday morning, I'm finna leave the house, go to work, and I look and they got one in stock at the one near me.
Nope.
And all weekend, when it was showing, would still show you the price. When you done the in-store pickup, it would jump up $100 extra bucks. I was like, man, that's some bull crap. Well, I clicked on it Monday morning just out of curiosity, and the price stayed the same. So I said, check out, baby. I totally expected them to cancel it. But anyway, before that happened, the rest of the days, I filled my anxiety with way too much Amazon purchases, just random stuff. And I told my wife when it all started coming in the other day, I was like, Christmas is coming. I figured we needed boxes to wrap presents in, so I've ordered some Amazon. And they sent most of it in like the little plastic bags. This ain't working out. But anyway, go ahead. What was y'all's purchase? Chat and on the screen.
Raspberry Pi Zero.
Okay. The 2? The 02?
It is the
2W?
0. Don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
It was on special. Yeah. I'm going to play with that this weekend.
Okay.
I bought something, and I'm not going to tell you. I want to build it first.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, I have to.
Shit.
No, I know nothing about how to do this stuff. It's something that I want to truly learn.
If you would tell the crowd, then maybe you would get educated.
I'm gonna wait. I'll tell you what. Maybe next week. I'll because we're running late. Maybe next week. It has to do with Raspberry Pi stuff. We'll just leave it at that.
There you go. Y'all can work together.
Maybe. Yep. I'll share with you later. Yeah, Liam. I'll tell you what I bought.
Cool.
But I wanna teach myself. I almost went with the 100 ampere hour batteries, but I decided by the time I get the battery, by the time I get the charger, by the time I do a case, rework. Jason Hamray 2.0's got a great video about modifying a battery case. By the time I do all that, my 40 ampere hour Bionos are still doing well. So I figure until they lose steam in five years maybe. But for now, I'm gonna repurpose my money. We also made a big purchase today, so I'm saving my money. So it's just one of those things. No.
Comments. MRD Mike on Radio 2 fell victim to his own Black Friday video and purchased a Fluke multimeter.
Ooh.
Oh,
He
big
got
money.
himself.
Big
money. Holy crap, Cooley. You ain't got no money for Christmas left, dude. Ain't no drinking on New Year's for you. You can't even afford a cigar anymore. Geocron and Des Mike and a 3D printer. Jesus.
That's funny. He's gonna be drinking.
I hope he's got an LLC so he can tax right off that stuff. Yeah.
There you
I'm
go.
trying to think of that non-alcoholic stuff you see in the grocery store.
That water.
But Steve, why don't you put a ribbon on this thing and send everybody out of here?
I ordered the AMS for the Bamboo A1 Mini.
Why didn't you get it to begin with?
Because I screwed up, damn it, Joe.
Rookie.
But they had it on sale, so it's on order.
Oh, Steve, Tell the crowd about next week. We do have a guest next week.
We do have a guest next week.
Kim.
Yeah, Kim from out in California.
Yes, K6YYL or Y. Oh boy, I put it up.
Yeah, YYL. K6YYL.
Great lady on POTA. Great. We're going to do another show next week. We're going to talk radio.
Another POTA show. Go figure. You know, Molson's not here anymore to bitch about it, so it's all good.
Lamb, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome. Great to meet you guys. Thanks for bringing me into the club.
Lamb, don't take off after we end here. We want to talk for a second. To all those in green, thank you guys. We love you. I'm going to go ahead and hit that outro.
The crowns out there. Thank you, brothers.
The shields.
Shields
are 24.
Shields, crowns, heads, whatever we call them.
All right. 7-3, all.
Shields. So bye.